You're watching The Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming and joining us on this beautiful Thursday evening on SketchUp on The Experience. I know a lot of people are going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con, so we do appreciate you coming in and joining us. Today's special guest, we have Michael and Carshénah Siegenthaler, and they put out a comic book called Skits. It's a very, very interesting comic book, and we're going to be taking a look at that. And of course, we've got a lot of art that we can show you as well. And we'll be right back with all that. So don't move. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We've got Michael and Carshénah. Am I saying your name right? Siegenthaler?
Siegenthaler.
Siegenthaler. There you go. I stand corrected. Thank you very much for that.
Perfect.
They are vacationing in Jacksonville, Florida. So we thank you for joining us and taking the time and sharing this evening with us. Mog is working on. You want to show what you?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes.
She's working on Psylocke. Okay.
Yes.
And that's the character that she works on. She gets a lot of requests to do Psylocke for some reason. I don't know, maybe because she's Asian. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, we have that piece. We have a death that we're giving away free. Jay, you can bring that up. And if you want to get in on that drawing, all you got to do is tag 3 of your friends in the comments, and I will put you into the drawing for that. And we also have another piece coming from Michael. What will you be doing?
Well, I got nothing yet because I got a brand new pad. When I came down here, I didn't know I was going to be on the show, so I went and got a pad, a pencil, and eraser, and I'm going to be drawing something completely during the show. It's going to be cool. It's going to be skits related.
Your bio, I read that you're a graduate from SCAD. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, I graduated in 2000.
Oh, so that's a while ago there, right? Did you like it there?
Oh man. Oh, I love Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia is my favorite town in the entire country, to be perfectly honest. I was there from 96 to 2001. And I just loved it. It was one of the best times of my life living anywhere.
Have you been back?
Funny enough, we went back there a couple, like 2 years ago, was it? And I hadn't been there in probably 10 or 12 years, maybe even more than that. And the whole place just completely changed. It's not the Savannah that I remember.
Yeah.
Back then the town was just run down and it was cheap and it was rough and raw, but now it's like fancy and it's just like being in New York City or something. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were actually there in 2018 visiting a friend who was at SCAD. So we got a chance to tour the campus. Loved it. Loved the town. Loved the rich history that's there. And it is beautiful. The people are beautiful as well. Felt right at home. Had a really, really good time there.
It's one of the rare walking cities in the deep South. There's not too many, and it's truly a walking town. If you live downtown, you can walk and do your grocery shopping. You can go and do just about anything you want in downtown. That's what I liked about it. I'm a huge fan of just walking, like European walking cities, and towns. That's what I like. So for me, it was a dream come true to actually be able to be there for college.
Yeah, I'm a fan like you are. I like those late night walks where I can just, peruse on whatever was open, which is a lot of the food eatery places. You get a little ice cream there. They've got a really old ice cream shop that's been around for a long time, that's been part of the movie industry as well. and that has a lot of history when you walk in there. So I love that. But a lot of great things to see there. So anyway, so let's get on to your project, your personal project, which is I find was very, very interesting. And I got two of your books, Skits, The Origin, and
Oh,
Skits, what was I think it's called, The Son of,
yep. Skits the
first one,
Sun,
right?
book one.
The Son
Mm-hmm.
of book one, right? And I read them, and they are really different from like any other story that I've read, because I got to tell you, um, it is kind of a trip. It's almost like I was in some kind of cerebral dream in a way, jumping from one thing to another, not really sure where I was going or where this was going to end up. But the curiosity kind of carries you forward because you want to see where this is going and what's going to happen. And I'm going to leave that part up to you to explain.
Well, let me give you a little bit of background since we were talking about Savannah. The last year I was there, I was working at a TV station, and I was working the graveyard shift from midnight to 8 a.m. And this is right at when I graduated. And so working that midnight, that graveyard shift, it was basically it was sucking the life out of me, because I wasn't used to staying up all night.
Yeah.
Like you stay up to like 3 or something, that's one thing. But if you're literally like staying up until like 8, 9, 10 o'clock the next day, it can really wreak havoc on you. So I started having these sequential dreams, which is basically just a dream would end one day and then you'd pick it up the next day, and it would just keep going right from where it ended the day before. So I did this for about 3 months, and I documented all of those dreams and stuff. And then a few years later, actually, you were talking about Skit's origin. That was actually something I did in 2008, 2009. I was just like, well, I'm going to learn to do comic books. So I just started putting those stories into that. And the Skits origin is just the collection of all that stuff that I did. And it's kind of my time at SCAD, and it kind of shows some of that stuff in Savannah. And then Skits the Sun book one actually goes into the dream sequences where it's like telling the stories that were going on. So we still got Skits the Sun book 2 coming, and also got Skits Fighting Windmills, which is completely done. We're just gonna figure out how we're gonna launch it here soon.
And Skits, just for the overall, hi everyone.
Oh yeah, Skits is a book.
On?
Just so you know, Skits is a book about a guy who can't tell the difference between his dreams and reality.
That is that elevator pitch.
I should have led off with that elevator pitch. My
bad. So if somebody was reading it and you're not sure, if they didn't have any idea, like what it was about or a clue, I did, because we had talked about it a few times before. They may get lost in the beginning, but I think once you figure it out, then you I see what's going to happen. It kind of reminded me a little bit of reading Kurt Vonnegut, if you're familiar with him. He did, because he does a lot of the time stuff like that, like his book Slaughterhouse-Five. And that's what it kind of reminded me of. Like, you're not that you're telling the same kind of story or using the same kind of plot or anything, but just that feel of the way how you kind of like jump around and you enter from one thing without trying to blow from one thing to another.
Well, it is an adventure story, because it is we have 3 books, which are 3 variant covers and 3 variant storylines. So you are sort of jumping into how you're going to get to the same adventure.
Yeah, each book is kind of like a choose your own adventure story, because there's different stuff going. It's the same book, but there's different little paths in each book where it takes you. So it's just kind of fun. It's just for me personally, I was like, I don't buy variant cover books. It's just not something that I do. So I was like, well, if I want people to buy it, it should be something that I would like. So I was like, well, I'll just do some variant stories in it. I'll do, I think I did 8 8 different pages.
12 panels.
No. It was 8 different pages in each book. And then there's also 18 different panels in each book. So it's like you can go through it and see, if you have the books next to each other, you can kind of see where things are different. Yeah, and those things that are different actually are kind of snapshots into what's going to be happening in the future books.
Which, thank you, Verse Films. I am their boss. Yeah, it's a 3-book journey is what we were telling people, because each book is kind of like a standalone. Well, not kind of. It is a standalone.
It just has different stuff.
Just different stuff.
If you're interested in skits and you want to get more of the background and more of the story, that's something that you would actually just look into, is getting the other books. You know, and most people bought all 3, which was kind of a surprise to me. I just like, well, let's try it and see what happens. You know,
it's all this in his brain.
Yeah, I remember when we did 101 Tales so many years ago, and we were talking about that. Where do you have all that? And I remember you saying, yeah, it's all up here. But so that's why it was kind of interesting to read the origins, to get that perspective, like how you came up with that, and to see some of your early drawings as well. When you first started out, like you have the first 2 drawings in there of skits, which I found rather interesting, because for creatives like that, it's always nice to see, like, where did you start it from, right?
Yeah.
And then seeing like where it's at right now, and then where you're going to go to.
Oh, shout out to our 101 Tales crew. Hey. That was such a fun showcase that that you guys put together. Thank you very much.
We talked about doing it again, but we never got around to it. I don't know. One of these days we might. I've been teasing on that. We're probably going to have to change the name to make it like 1001 Tales. But she doesn't want to go that much.
Oh, and thank you, K-pop. Thank you so much for the lovely comment. But anyway, I have a question. Like, when you were just going kind of almost crazy, not sleeping, does it affect your mood, the lack of sleep?
Yeah, you just don't really care about too much because you're just interested in sleeping. So it's you just kind of feel like you're in a haze, like you're half asleep, half awake.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever spent like 24, 36 hours, without sleep.
Yeah.
I've gone 5 days with no sleep.
I wouldn't be able to do that. There's no way.
See, I'm the opposite of his dreaming when I was younger, and I think maybe when we got married, I kind of calmed down. But I've been an insomniac for pretty much my whole life, and but I'm a weird case study because I have gone through like dream cases, but I'm what do you call a narcoleptic insomniac, which is like the complete opposite. But I can go to sleep on a dime, like. But then I wake up and I can tell you everything you said. Like I can tell you about the jokes that you made about me. I can talk about that TV show that I slept through. Like I literally can verbatim and be like, "No, he did it. Yes, it was him. It was him." Like from Mystery Show. Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think I'm. I think I'm kind of like more towards you.
Yeah, you are.
Because like even during college, right, I would fall asleep in class, right, and I would have like my 2 friends with me. And I got better grades than they did. And they were just so pissed off. I don't get it. You go to sleep. You're not listening to the class. And you get a better grade than us. So, but it's, And it's, I don't know. It is just like that.
I mean, I heard people talk about this where they forget they're hungry. They forget they didn't sleep for 2 days. Like they're so out of touch with what they feel physically.
Yeah. You get numb to a lot of things.
I can't do that.
I was like, I'm not the one.
Well, what's his name here in the comments? K-pop junkie. He said it felt like he was underwater, and that's exactly what I was saying. Excuse me. And if I said that it was like a fog, but yeah, it's kind of like you're underwater. Everything's dull and muted, except for the light. The light's just bearing down on you, because it's just like, oh, I just want to go to sleep. I just want to go to sleep,
Yeah.
And some of those days I wouldn't be able to go to sleep until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon because I had to do other things. and it just kills you. I mean, it really does. But I would never want to do it ever again, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that work, those hours, and some of them are careers at it. And even though they've been at it for like 40 plus years or so, they're kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Because they, they're.
I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
It's just like off.
Yeah, your body is supposed to sleep when it's dark.
Yeah,
definitely
supposed to. But we push ourselves. Like I said before, if you are an insomniac and you just can't sleep, sometimes it's not a push. Sometimes it's just like because your synaptic nerves and your brain is just firing so much. Like you have this to think about, you've got that to think about. You're worrying about this, and you're trying to calm yourself, but you just can't. So
there's also an adjustment that you have to go through because it's going to be a different kind of lifestyle compared to like everybody else.
Yeah.
When you're awake, everybody else is, or when you're awake and it's your time, your free time. Everybody's still working.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tough to schedule doctor appointments. And then not to mention like family gatherings, you may not have the kind of weekend that other people have. So it really your lifestyle kind of gets differentiated from everybody else. You're never really fully. You're
supposed to be scheduled.
You don't really feel 100%.
Yeah, the thing about the dreaming at that point too is the dreaming becomes a lot more vibrant and right there kind of in your face, and it almost compares to just regular life, because it's almost as vivid as your muted day life or nightlife, whatever it is.
I love the nightlife. I like to boogie. Yeah, that's why that was written. Yes.
But baby, why don't you talk about some of your stuff right now? Because I need to get started on this drawing.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest. So why don't you talk to her for a little bit?
Hello.
You have your blog, is it? Your let's see, what do you call it again? Well, go ahead. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
So, what you want to talk about, the Barbie doll, or you want to talk about my horror film? Because I am a horror fan. Yes, I love horror.
Let's get into the Barbie thing first, and then we'll get into the horror. The horror is going to be a bigger topic.
Okay. So, back in the day, I graduated from Florida State. Woo! For undergrad, and then I went to University of Florida, so I'm like a Seminole Gator. So yes, out there, don't hate me. And my very first sort of showcase that they did, like the first cream of the crop, we went and we auditioned for like the New York audiences, the New York like agents and talent managers and everything. So when I was there, I did my little monologue, like, I am a theater actor. I am theater. And then the lady from the Mattel company came up to me, and she was this great British lady. She's like, you have all the dimensions of our Barbie doll. Can you come to the offices and we take a snapshot of you? And I was like, you had me at, I'm from Mattel. Hello, yes. So I went, she took the snapshots of me of the side by side. And then that was literally kind of like my first New York experience. And I was made into a Barbie doll, or I should say I fit the dimensions of their Barbie doll. Her name is Simone. So this is my actual, and since the Barbie movie is coming out or is out or however, this is my actual Barbie doll.
Oh, wow.
This is Simone.
That is so awesome. Wow.
So Barbie did a refresh of the brand called One Modern Circle. And so that was me. And it's got like my stats like on the back. Like you can see like Florida. And like I was a professional clown. So I had like some other stuff as well. This was the catalog that we were in, the Barbie catalog. That's the whole like Barbie crew.
Wow.
And Barbie got bangs and everything. So this was us when we were. This is what real film looks like, kids. Like actual real film that you had to get developed and everything.
Wow.
So this was us. I know there's a glare to it, but that was me as the Barbie.
Wow.
Yeah. So it
so
was
pretty.
Thank you. So it was really, really, really cool. This is genuine Kodak film. So back in the day, but we were at like some Barbie conventions like in Orlando. We opened up FAO Schwartz in New York.
Wow.
And that is the one, yes, from the movie Big with Tom Hanks, and he does a little toot 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 toot. Yes. So it's like one of the like creme de la creme things that you can ever tout. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, by the way, I'm a Barbie doll. People are like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I actually have an actual Barbie doll.
Oh man.
That Mattel actually sanctioned and made me into. And I'm not famous. I'm just this girl from Jacksonville, Florida, this little black girl from Jacksonville, Florida, and I have a Barbie doll. So
you know what? Okay, and I don't know how how other people are gonna feel about this, but I want one.
Yes.
And then when I get it, I want to send it to you.
Right. Right. And also Barbie would not be complete without her evening wear. Yes, Simone has her evening wear. That was my evening wear.
Dang, all sparkly and shiny.
I know. Look at Ken. So it was Barbie. You had Barbie, you had Ken, you had Simone, and you had Melody. Was her name? Look, you saved over 15% back in the day. But that was the evening wear for Barbie. And yes, right now I am part of the Barbie collector. I am part of the Barbie collector.
Oh my God.
So yes, you may collect me for the low price of $59.99. You may collect.
Wow.
So there you go. So now I have to put her back because my mom would freak out if I took her out.
That was a much better story than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Pictures and all. Yes, pictures and all. So yeah, but that was my very first New York experience. Just auditioning and just happened to look like their actual mold of the Simone doll, and I fit all the dimensions, and yeah, it was surreal. So take that, everybody who's famous and Beyonce.
Wow.
Dang, that I'm telling you, man, that beats. I don't know if Michael can beat that with any of his Toy Stories, because they have your own figure in a freaking Barbie doll.
No, but he doesn't have to compete. He can just say, "Oh yeah, well, my wife's a Barbie with my wife." Literally mean it.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And literally mean it. Like, my wife's a Barbie.
So cool.
But no, it was a blessing. No, I was really blessed to get it, because I mean, yeah, it's a once in a lifetime chance, even to just be asked, and even to go into the offices of Mattel in New York, and just, like, you can like take pictures on the outside, but it's, you got to have your badge to go inside. So
did you know that they were going to do a Barbie doll of you at the very beginning, or?
No, it was just, like I said, it was just at the audition, and she approached me and said that I fit their Barbie mold and everything, and took those pictures. And then once I actually saw it, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, with like a little bit of stats on the back. So yeah, it was It's pretty cool. And she was like, oh, we're doing all these shows and Barbie conventions. Barbie conventions are worse than the Trekkies. Let me just put that out there.
Really?
Okay.
I've been to Barbie conventions. Yeah, because we did collect a few back before in the 90s. And some of those can get pretty,
They are rough, those people, because you've got people who have been collecting Barbies or who's known Barbies since she debuted in the 50s. It's just like, I mean, but they're very particular, and I love them. I love them to death. I love them.
There's a hierarchy that happens in that industry amongst the collectors. So you got to know who you're talking to, who you're dealing with in there.
Yeah, I gotta ask Michael. So is she high maintenance?
Well, I mean,
because usually beautiful Barbie women.
all wives are high maintenance. All husbands are high maintenance because they're the one that you have to take care of the most, right?
There you go.
Thanks, K-pop junkie. Thank you. No, I didn't get any residuals or royalties from all of that. The contract is more or less. It was like, hey, sign here. You're done for the campaign. So once the campaign was over, you're done. But Barbie's done. So, but I have a tale to tell, right? But everything after that,
forever.
And that is a very good tale.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by that. I love that one quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to mention that we are giving away a death art piece. If you want to qualify for that drawing, all you got to do is tag 3 of your friends in the comments, and that'll get you in. Just like Mike Wesolowski, he's got that, and I'm going to put his name into the jar. So he'll be the first one in there. Feel free to join him by tagging 3 of your friends in the comments. Mog has a Psylocke piece that she's working on. The starting bid on that is $75. We have one other piece. It's a Madame Xanadu. JD can bring that up. In a frame, it is Madame Xanadu in a flapper outfit in a Mardi Gras frame, a special frame that we're going to include with this purchase. And the opening bid on that is $100, and that includes everything for that. Okay. And Mike is also working on something on his board. Have you decided what you want to do, Mike?
What are my options?
Anything you want.
Okay. Whatever. If someone wants it, just holler at me and I'll send it to them.
All right, so Mike is open to suggestions. If anybody wants to type anything in the comments you want to see him draw, okay. And we will, while we're waiting to see what comes up, we'll go back with Carshénah, and she's going to tell us about the.
I'm working on it right now.
There you go. Okay, he's working on it. Okay. And what do you want the starting bid to be on that, Mike?
Oh, just whatever anyone wants. It's no big deal. Just start it wherever you like.
Okay, well, let's start it off at 50.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's working on a big board there. Okay.
He can pay for the collector's edition at 50.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. And I just got notified by JD that it is time to take a break. So don't go away. We're going to come back with Michael and Carshénah, and Carshénah's going to tell us about her private company that she's working on that has some very exciting projects, and her stuff, from what she tells us, is blowing up. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds, A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP.
Welcome back to Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. Our special guest today is Michael and Carshénah Siegenthaler.
There you go. Correct? Very good.
Yeah,
very
you're almost getting there.
Right.
80%.
Had to figure out that one. All right. And we're going to be, Carshénah's going to be telling us about Verse Films Productions. Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Verse Films Productions, I got a little, you can see us there. Verse Films started out in 2010, and when I was out in LA, and let me just backtrack. I've been out in LA for like the longest time, and I didn't really see too many African Americans like in the horror industry as far as like being in the forefront, having their own production company. It's always the joke, and everyone knows it, that the minority gets killed off first.
Yes,
everyone knows, like, you know, and it's so uneventful. It's such a trope that whatever minority, it can be Black, it can be Asian, it can be anyone, and you're just like, oh, you're done, brother. You're done. Like,
yeah, you just know. Yeah,
you just already know.
You just know. Yeah.
So I did mine where I was like, no, my minorities will not die. We will multiply. Oh, it's gonna be everybody else that's gonna die in my horror films, psychologically. But no, it came out of that stem, and so I do a lot of psychological horror. I don't do too much monsters or, you know, which I do love. I mean, you can give it to me, you can change it to a Wolfman, but I do a lot of psychological horror, and so that seems to be my niche, because it's more of the real world horror, more like, hey, somebody's watching you, but you don't know someone's watching you. You know, you're outside somewhere, you know, jangling your keys, trying to open your door to your house. Like, what's going to happen when you know, so it's stuff like that could actually happen, but more on a psychological realm for that. But so that's how the production company came into the foray. I was just tired of a lot of minorities dying the first 5 seconds of the film. But it is what it is, and it's totally fine. But you tell someone that, and they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, If it was 4 of us, at least 3 gonna die, and 1's gonna get maimed to the point where you don't know if they are gonna die. So yeah. Yep. But if you go on over to our YouTube channel, I would love for you to see what I do. I do a lot of kill counts, where you go through like a horror film and you literally count the number of ways that people have died, or like you count them up, and like how funny it is to like actually go through an hour and a half, 2 hour movie and then just rack up all the counts. You know, you're like, ooh, that was one. Ooh, that was two. Oh man, that was like already 27. It's funny. And then
you just brought up the link for that, so if anyone wants to go,
thank you. I've been also on a biblical horror kick as well. It actually got me like my most views. Like I think I got 23, 24, 25,000 people clicked on it.
That's a lot.
I did about Sodom and Gomorrah, and I just made this like nice little edit about Sodom and Gomorrah, added some animation. I added like some short stories. Like I did all kinds of stuff, and a lot of people really loved it. I was like, yeah, God has the most biblical horror. Like if you're going to kill everybody, done. Kill count, done. Kill count, wiped off the planet, done. And when I showcased it, everybody was like, yep, that's the best kill count ever. Because it's like
when you read the Bible,
you're right.
It kind of, it may not sound scary, but if you think about it, and that stuff was like really happening, that is some spooky stuff.
It is the Moses one. Can you imagine? At
like,
night, you don't know what's coming.
The plagues.
All the firstborn dies.
Well, think about it. How awesome is that as a horror film? Like literally, they had a lot of sacrificing, a lot of worshiping, a lot of people, got flooded out. They got, got killed with the Sodom and Gomorrah, the hailstorms. That they got like people who were possessed by a lot of demons and devil. I mean, like. It is the best horror book ever written. It really is.
I actually don't know the Sodom and Gomorrah. All I know is that from the word Sodom, they use the word sodomize.
Yes. Well, that's basically the city.
What's the Bible story?
So the Bible study for Sodom and Gomorrah is that it was a wicked city. They did a lot of sodomizing, a lot of this. I mean, it was everything under the sun they did. Like literally. It was Vegas times like 1,000. Like really, shout out to my friends in Vegas. Shout out.
Vegas gone wild.
Shout out to my friends in Vegas. But no, so the Abraham went to go try to save his nephew Lot, and Lot just happened to live in that area. But some angels came down and told him, hey, the Lord doesn't like what he sees. I'm going to destroy it. You need to pick up your family and flee. So literally, as the angels were trying to help him flee the city, God rained down sulfur balls, like actual hail, brimstone sulfur balls, and it wiped out the entire population. So what I did was also on that piece, you can find it on the website, I interwove actual accounts from actual archaeologists who found not as say original, but that found remnants of actual sulfur that's only 100% only in that area. Nowhere else in the world was there 100% pure sulfur except for in the site where Sodom and Gomorrah. So if anybody doesn't believe in the Bible, it's like, well, archaeologists prove there's nowhere else in the world but this one place that has sulfur balls that are pure. You can't like make up pure sulfur balls like anywhere else. They tried. And they also have like remnants and like sort of dig sites that are out there. So I did piece together actual archaeological digs, as well as what people were talking about, other scholars, just to prove that, yeah, this was a real event. So, and it was just bad. Everybody died.
Yeah.
Cats, dog. Everybody died. So that's scary.
It's interesting that you bring up archaeology too, because it seems like, or the impression I'm getting, I don't know if like everybody else is, because that is a field I am interested in, by the way. But it's like when you think about it, we supposedly had this flood, right? Mm-hmm. And it covered pretty much the entire planet.
Yes.
Not everything is going to remain standing. Things are going to get buried. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, in today, we're noticing that we're finding sites that we thought were mythical, legendary. They were just like made up stories. But we're finding cities now that match these stories, ancient stories that they were talking about, and so now there's some truth to that. And so same thing with the Bible. We're finding more evidence of that. So it's a very, very, very interesting how that is tying up with the stories from the Bible. Okay, let's see. Somebody was asking a question here. K-pop. If you could redo a horror franchise, which one do you want to make?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I like that question.
I love that question. There's three. I've actually thought about this question as well. There are three. I would love, oh man.
Come on.
I would like to do, and I know it could be whatever. I want to do Child's Play.
Child's Play.
I would love to redo Child's Play.
Right.
It's like one of my favorites. I would also love to redo not so much. I mean, it's funny because a lot of these that I'm thinking of, they've already been like sort of redone and redoed. You know what I mean? It's just like, but like in a different way. I would like to actually redo what somebody's saying. They've already did Candyman just recently. I would like to redo The Night of the Living Dead.
Right. Yeah.
But in a twist where not only do the dead come back, but the dead transform. Like I guess if they've actually touched you, they can sort of morph into whoever they are. Sort of kind of like they can morph into somebody.
Okay.
So they're all going to be a dead person walking around because they get to morph into somebody. Just something wacky and weird. And I also want to redo oh well, I had to think about the third one. Sorry, I did think about it, but now that I'm on the spot, I had to think about the third one. But those would be the first two that I would like to remake. With those first two, I love those movies.
What about you? What would you want to remake?
A lot of movies that all the minority dies first. Just any horror movie, I don't know, like where the minority dies first, and you change the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Just change the outcome of who actually dies, who actually survives. I'm thinking
that's a good one.
Maybe like I don't know what's a good one like that. 13 Ghosts was 13 Ghosts one?
Well, 13 Ghosts dealt with a family.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts was a family-oriented one.
Yeah.
You can do, you know which one you can do. You know what? I like Saw.
Yeah.
Saw would be really good. I would love to do that franchise too. Or Final Destination.
Okay.
You're right. Final Destination. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's not too many movies that have really like scared me. How about you? Were there movies that actually scared you, or just not at all? Or the other?
No, like I love like movies like Human Centipede. That's like a top movie for me.
Okay.
Like that is crazy. Only because I used to live in Europe. And I know, like, if your car got broken down and, you're like in some foreign country and you're like trying to be nice, you never know who you run into. Like, you're like, oh yeah, this person's got like some German bunker in the back of the house. For what reason? Why you gotta, for what reason? What medical reason is there? Like, there's just so many stories that you can, come up with, but like, I love stuff like that. I love vampire movies. Vampires are the thing. Like you give me a Dracula any day. And yes, I've been trying to get Michael to watch Twilight.
Oh God.
Okay.
That's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Only because they're sparkly. They're sparkly, and I want to show him the
God.
sparkles.
Okay. I got excited when Twilight was like coming out. You know, I said, "Wow, this looks different and something that I could like sink my teeth into." But and after that first one, I just had like a hard time.
But you still watched it to the end.
I ended up watching it. Why? Because she dragged me to them.
Yeah.
And, so I watched the whole thing. I think for me, I like that kind of stuff too. The like Jewish dragons brought up The Omen and The Exorcist. The Exorcist, I think because that's kind of like almost an open, just like vampires, The Walking Dead, zombies. There's a lot of things that you could do with that because you can be very, very creative with that. But when you're dealing with something like Halloween, you're going, okay, you got Michael Myers, you know, it's a little bit limited as to your creativity. Like, well, okay, what are you going to do different? What can you do differently here? What can you show that's going to be different? You're going to need to raise it up to the next level, like what you said in your example with Day of the Dead. Was it Dawn of the Dead?
Night
of the Dead, right?
Night of the Living Dead.
You raise it up a level where if they touch you, then you know something else is going to happen, right? And so I think you have to try and change that story a little bit and add another element or another thing into it to make it like interesting. But when you think of like vampires, a generic, more of a generic theme like that would be like vampires, werewolves. It's more open. You can be more creative and come up with a different story or something different than what has already been told. And we've seen quite a bit of that. But it's always interesting to see. One of my early remembrances of watching horror, right, is in the 70s. I'm a military brat, and we had a theater that we could go into and watch movies for $1. So I was watching Dracula that was starring Christopher Lee, right? And man, that was scary. For a 13-year-old kid, that was scary. But I love the whole experience in there, watching it. When his eyes turns red, you know he's going to get bloody. Yeah. You know the blood action is going to start, and all the girls are screaming, and I'm over there just smiling, eating my popcorn. Yeah, it's going to start.
Do it. One of the things that I have, and I've already like started writing the script, and this would be good for you, Mog, to listen up for this one.
Okay.
Is because of the tropes. I had one of a film title called Who's First? Because you have the premise of the basis of there's like 4 or 5 like girlfriends going on a girl weekend trip type deal.
Okay.
And they're all Black minorities.
Yeah.
One decides, when they get to the cabin in the woods, right? Yeah. It's sort of a comedy.
Yeah.
One says, "Oh, I'm going to go out for a run," because she's the athletic one. You know what I mean? So you're always on the trail. "Oh, I'm going to go out on a swim on the lake," right?
Yeah.
Then you have, "Oh, well, I'm going to take a shower. I had a long day from the trip." Then so it's like, well, who's first? All these are tropes. You either die on the trail, die in the lake, die in the shower, die at, but you're by yourself. No one can hear you, right? So so the killer is like, well, who do I do first? Like they're all like ready for me to like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Because they're all on all these tropes. Then you've got like one girl that's just listening to the music, sort of hippie. Like doesn't, the surroundings you don't know. Someone's like literally standing behind her. So those type of tropes that you always see like in movies. Yeah. Except for they're minorities, and because since they're all Black or they're all minorities, they don't know who to do first. They're like, wait, she's Black and she's on the trail by herself.
She's gonna die for sure.
She's gonna die. But then it's like, but wait, there's another minority, but she's in the shower psycho scene. Wait, who am I gonna do first? So it's that type of deal that you can make fun of, but you know, you can always have that can be really creative because you can be like, oh, she just tripped and fell. Oh, I know I'm gonna get her first.
Oh, dude, speaking of tropes, you gotta have the ones where, you know, I always make fun of it where they're like, they hear the noise in the middle of the night and they get up and they go investigate towards that noise.
Yes.
In the pitch black, and usually it's a basement. Yeah, that's very smart. Do it. You know?
Why
You gotta
are
do that.
Go down
Like,
in the basement
like,
without
what's that?
any lights?
Yeah, you're alone. You're in a strange place, and especially you say you're a minority, and then on top of that, you're a girl.
Wait.
Brave.
Or they'll say, or they'll say, let's split up and let's check it out. No,
Yes,
split up.
So like, you go there, I go there. Yeah, really smart. Really smart.
Oh my god.
Oh, speaking of tropes, you know, a really good movie that I still really enjoyed, you know, a long time was Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch that movie?
Mm-hmm.
See, it is kind of the tropes, but the minority, you know, but they twisted it a little bit, and she survived, which was so good. But,
it is really good. Mel, I think you're right about like you can do The Omen really good. A lot of possessions like Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. That can be something different as well that you can use. But the thing is that it takes a really good or a strong writer and actor to get that story across differently than what it is. Like the only thing is that I would love to do like a remake, whatever, but I'm also in that same category where I'm like, no more remakes, no more reimaginings, no more recyclings, no more redos, no more regenerations. Like make something brand new, because I love you, Evil Dead, but I'm like, oh, I love you, Camp Crystal Lake, but it's like, how many prequels can we pump out of that? First of all, if he died when he was 11 years old, how's he coming back as a 45-year-old man? I don't get it. I mean, I really don't get it. Like, come on, Jason. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I'm saying that if you're going to do it, you have to introduce a new piece of element in there that's kind of like changes the game. You know, to say, oh wow, you know, this is now people can watch it and say, okay, wow, this is interesting because of this. You know, they said, and not just say, it was a nice, well done remake. You know, the special effects were better.
one of my shows that I actually premiered out in LA. We did like a red carpet event for it. It's called The Dead of Night. And speaking of like zombies, like what I did for mine is I had a resurrection. Instead of just like zombies come back, it's a resurrection. Is because somebody lost something or someone did something to somebody where the possession was so much where they resurrected to finish that unfinished business. So mine was a very short film for The Dead of Night, and it's basically this couple who were going to get married. You know, they were coming back from their wedding dinner, you know, the night before, and then something happened where they were outside of their house and some entity, or let's say a woman, was possessed and like sort of scratched the girl while she was running by, and she fell ill instantly. And she basically died. And so, you know, her fiance didn't know what was going on. You know, but he was trying to find this entity, but because she never got married, that's what kept her. It was that love to resurrect her to finish that unfinished business. But unbeknownst to her, every time, you know, when she resurrected, she was also passing along that fury, passing along that passion, passing along whatever was next for the next person that comes, you know, in her eye range. So now it's like all over the city, everybody's being resurrected if they lost something. Sort of like a little mini series I did too. It's like a little boy part of the story, he was trying to give a gift to like his parents, like as a birthday gift, like, a little boy. But for some reason, that entity, the next entity, came and watched him and sort of like, I guess, in a sense, got him. And so he was never found, but he got resurrected because he wants to make sure he gives his parents that gift. So whatever is strongest in that person's heart or that person's aura resurrected them to come back to finish that unfinished business, but it changes you.
Let me show what I'm working on.
Oh here. Yeah, baby.
Okay,
please.
Ooh.
There you go.
I love it.
There's nice. Boot. Very nice.
There's boot.
I like the boot.
If you know the story, there's the boot.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm working on.
There you go.
We'll have it done by the end of the show here.
Okay. All right. And we are looking for an opening bid on $50 on that. If anybody wants to bid. Okay. That is part of the skits comic that they work on. Okay. Question for you, Carshénah. Do you you say that you're into horror and all that, but do you investigate sites that have hauntings or anything like that?
No, I know of places that are, deemed, of those sites, but no, I don't. I do have some ghost hunter friends or friends that like part of the shows and stuff, but no, I haven't investigated. Like I hear about the stories and I just go, okay, cool. Because I do believe there are some spirits that do walk around. I do believe that there are some spirits that do inhabit this plane of existence. And so I just know that they exist and I just leave it at that. You know what I mean? So I don't like, ooh, this one happened in 1845 when the mistress of the house like shot everybody. It's like, no, I don't go do the investigation. It would be cool, but no, I do know some scary houses, some scary monster houses that you're just like, you go by. I was just telling my husband the other day, there's a house down a little ways where my family grew up in the Middleburg area, and there's a scary house on the corner. They will not tear it down because allegedly it's like a historical house, but it is very well known that it does have some ghost or some spirit. Like it's very well known in the history of the town and the history that people just know it is. And I was telling Michael that house, even to this day, it always has ravens circling that house. Always. Like it can be in the winter, it can be in the summer. It doesn't matter. There's always a black bird somewhere at that house. And I know that house is scary. So
I'm always curious for people who love horror. Do you guys I guess for you, do you get scared easily?
I laugh. I'm like Mel, like I'm just like, oh, I'm like the Michael Jackson meme, like, yeah, this is good. I'm like, get it, girl. You better run. Like, I'm like, you better run.
We went to go watch Megan, right? And that was supposed to be a scary movie. And I ended up, like I do with a lot of the horror movies, I ended up laughing, and I was like the loudest one in the theater, because when they show scenes like when they're going to go down into the attic and stuff like that, and people are going, they're getting all scared here. I'm just like laughing at them because I think it's just kind of silly. He said, why would you do that? Nobody in their right mind is going to do that.
Like when Elm Street came out, I was a kid. I was just like, oh, this is funny. Like everybody was like, oh my God, Jason's or Freddy's going to get you. I'm like, Freddy's my homeboy. What you talking about? You better run.
I had nightmares because of freaking Freddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I get scared easily, so I don't watch horror movies, but only I got desensitized because of Mel. But not, I still get scared, but yeah.
Well, my mom we used to watch old classic movies like Bela Lugosi, like I think in the chat someone was talking about the old Universal monsters, like those type of monsters were really awesome to watch, like The Mummy or the creature from the the Black Lagoon and things like that. And like I used to watch like Dark Shadows with my mom, the old TV show. You know what I mean? That wasn't to me back then. Yeah, that was like but it was more like watching a soap opera, with the music. It was dramatic. It wasn't like it just.
Well, Dark Shadows was a soap opera.
It was.
And but when they come out with shows like in the 70s, when they came out with like Night Stalker, I was glued to the TV. I'd be outside playing and checking my watch. Oh, it's time to go. Sorry guys, I gotta end the game.
Night Stalker was a good one. Kojak. Yeah. The Night Stalker. They actually did a remake of that, and they actually did a really good job of that remake. It was like in the early 2000s, I think, or maybe the late 90s.
Yeah, it was, they did it like after the fact of like X-Files, because everybody was talking about like X-Files back then, and like how did they come off that? And you were talking about like how it was kind of like a bit of a spin-off of that Night Stalker series going into the X-Files. So it was kind of nice to see that, right? Because when that series was running, X-Files, I'd be talking to my friends, man, this is like Night Stalkers, right? And nobody was like, they didn't know like what I was like talking about. But then they started bringing it up, and they said, oh, that's what Mel was talking about.
Oh, I love X-Files.
X-Files is good. I love that too, because it's all supernatural with aliens, with this. And, I mean, it's like everything. Friday the 13th had a series that they did and came out with that was supposed to be surrounded by the actual mask, but it was like the Curious Goods shop. And that came out, and I love, like, I still watch the remake of that series to this day. But that was really good because it was like, it took a lot to, the premise of the story was that there's these objects that were possessed by the devil because they were made by a pact by Louis Vonderdy, the owner of the shop. And the items were sold at their antique shop. And so they were scattered all across, but then they found out that they were possessed, so they had to get them back. But like you had to find out, well, what was the possession of? Like, what did that antique do for you? Some of them you had to kill, people just to look young. Some of them can stop time, but it was all about that. And I love that show. That was a really good show.
That's actually
hold that thought. Okay. We're going to have to take a break, and we'll be right back. We're going to talk more with Michael and Carshénah.
Why was Princess Zelda sad after watching a bunch of YouTube videos? She couldn't find the link in the description. We'll stop if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Click subscribe and click the bell when you do. And thanks for supporting the EXP.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite news show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form.
Welcome back, everyone. This is a Sketch Up on a Thursday night on The Experience. We have Michael and Carshénah Siegenthaler with us tonight. And we were just talking about horror. And, this is the second night that we've had guests, and we're getting really deep into this horror. Seems to be a hot topic. Seeming like Halloween is just around the corner, and it kind of is. Okay, so we left off and Carshénah was telling us about, what was it again?
Oh, it was like a show about where these items that you know.
Yes, and it's very interesting, right? Because you have these different items that got taken away, and now they have to try and get them back, right? So, and I always like that when you have I don't know why, just like different things that have like almost like magical, mystical power in them, right? And that thing always it kind of intrigues me. Same thing with what they do with Indiana Jones. With archaeology, you have these things that have mystical things that happen with them or powers. Right? It's almost like it's had a magic that element.
That reminds me of a book I read. I think it's called Needful Things by Stephen King.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that actually was a movie?
Yeah.
All Stephen King's books or movies, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it really feels like similar vein. The story you just told me.
Mm-hmm.
And and I've seen I would like to see someone do like a remake of Stephen King's movie, the one that came out a disaster. I mean, not the ones that turned out pretty good.
Oh, okay.
So
there was that one movie.
For me, Dark Towers, I think they could have done it better.
Oh yeah, Dark Towers.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
There was that one movie or series that we were watching that had to do with
The Dome.
house.
The Dome.
No, it had to do with a house, and there were items inside the house. What was that called?
The Room.
The Room. Right. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Oh,
But kind of similar, because everything in the room had some kind of power. Right? And they were trying to. The story is that all the elements in the room got kind of taken out, and this guy was trying to get it all back in there so that way he could get his daughter back. Right. So, but it's a very interesting series that you can get out there if you want to check that out. But
it's an obscure. It's a very obscure.
Similar kind of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one is not horror though.
No, it's not horror.
Yeah,
not well, it might be for some people, but
no, it's like
it's a
this
thriller.
guy randomly went to this motel, this specific room number, I forgot what it was, and then something catastrophic or nuclear happened within that room, and he became God. So it's like a weird pocket of time thing. So because the room, he became God in a way, everything about the room is like a God object. So even a keyhole or a little pen like this, can do incredible things. So it got scattered, and anybody that got their hands on it, they keep it. I don't think there's really any, there's always a catch to the items, but there was no catch. But what it did was it collected a lot of collector fanatics who knows about it. So they want to, kind of like the Nazi Hitler thing, where they want to collect all the objects of power, because if they do so, they believe they can communicate and talk to God. Where you can control God. So, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like some of the series, we were talking about Friday the 13th. There's also like other like series that we've been watching like on Netflix that has got some really good series. There was one that was like a 7-episode one. It was like Midnight something, where it was like the priest and he was like a vampire, but you really didn't know he was a vampire, but it was something like that.
Oh no, that was it was on that island.
Yeah. I'm something the name of it though. It was like Shadow or something, but
It sounds really interesting. It's a Netflix show.
Yeah, it's a really Netflix has been having some good stuff on Netflix. Yeah, it was a Netflix show.
Oh, and I can't remember the name of that one. That one's so good too.
Oh, I'll have to Midnight Mass. Thank you. Midnight Mass. That's what it was. That was actually really good.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. That sounds really good. Midnight Mass
series. I love like also cheesy.
Yeah, because they're hilarious.
Yeah, like the Master is like one of my favorite. That's on my YouTube channel. I did a kill count for that one. I love like the Wishmaster, stuff like that. Other cheesy ones I love, like so like the Wishmaster is actually really good. I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Those
one
are
of my favorites. One of my favorites also is Chud. I'm a huge fan of Chud.
What? It's Killer Clowns?
Yeah.
Yeah, Killer Clowns from
Outer Space. Yeah. They even have a theme song. Yeah,
that's a cult classic.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
It's fantastic.
It's funny. It's funny more than anything.
Okay, good. I'm gonna from Outer Space and then
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, yeah, and the Midnight Mass. Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, I actually watched the Guillermo del Toro's produced that weird Cabinet of Curiosities kind of thing.
Those were good.
Yeah, those are real good.
Really? Some of them were so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, dude.
Some were bad, yeah, but I didn't like the one with the woman in her house where the
birds,
the thing in the basement.
Yeah, and I didn't like the rats. The rat one was kind of stupid, but
yeah.
But I liked everything else. That I thought was pretty good. I was like, oh yeah, look at you, Guillermo.
I like the one. I might get confused because I watched Black Mirror after that.
Oh yeah, Black Mirror is awesome.
What's the one where was it the one they had this girl who had to kill like 3 people before 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking with a demon?
Mm-hmm.
That one
was Black Mirror.
That's a Black Mirror.
That wasn't Black Mirror. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I like that one.
Yeah,
and I like the first one in the Cabinet of Curiosities, the storage one.
Oh yeah, that was really good. That was really good.
That one was a good one. I like that.
That was probably their best one.
And then the freakiest one was the glow, the lotion glow, and the lady keeps going.
Oh yeah, she changes and transforms. See, I like stuff like that where there's sort of a hidden message of transforming your life. You know, and she's like, "What? Why am I not?" But for $19.99, you can put this on and change your life. Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah, you can become beautiful.
Oh, this is awesome. Mog, your colors are popping up. Those are really good.
Oh, thank you. K-Pop Junkie said they just came out with a game for it. You mean Midnight Mass? Is she talking about Midnight Mass?
Not sure.
Okay.
She'll clarify that on that.
Yeah.
Kind of like interesting.
Yeah.
I like cheesy films also, like The Mist. That's also on Netflix, and that's funny.
The Mist? What is The Mist about?
That's a series on Netflix.
No. It's a movie. The Mist.
The original.
The original. Yeah, the original. Yes, okay, and yes. You're correct. The original movie came out first before the series, but yeah, the series is.
We haven't seen the series.
We did see the series. Remember when they all went in the grocery store? My friend plays the sheriff. Yeah, my friend's in that series.
That's the movie.
No, remember we watched the episodes of it, and we said, "Oh, what's going on?"
I don't remember the episode.
The Mist and the Fog. Everybody always gets confused. No. It's The Mist. Remember, because there was like another lady.
Because it has the guy from.
We saw. Remember, because it was supposed to have like a. Right, but it was supposed to have like a second series. Remember, we were like, "Oh, this is a stupid series," and I told you my friend was in it.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
We watched it first. Yeah.
We're probably gonna go check those out. later.
I like cheesy because it's like, okay, recently me and Mel watched a Japanese drama.
Oh, I love those.
And it was so stupid, but we just could not stop. And we kept bashing it to the bitter end. And it's a really dumb story. Where this girl, she was rich. Her father was like head of a hospital. And then fire started. And then 10 years or 12 years pass. And she gets hired as a maid to the very house where they, had the fire. And turns out that her dad divorced her mom, married a new woman who used to be the mom's best friend. And she has this hypothesis that, and then the first scene is the mom is crouching down on the ground, like bowing down and saying, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. The fire, I caused the fire." So the story assumes like it was the dad divorced her own mom because, she caused the fire. And then, so now she's going back as a maid, and she changed her name, identity, everything. And now she wants to find clues, which is really dumb. Think about it. Do you think after 12 years, you built the entire house from ground up again, you find evidence that your mom was not the one who started the fire? Really? You really think so? But, and
I love imports. I really do. Import movies are awesome. They really are. They really are. Tubi TV has some really good ones. They have some Thai horror films. They've got like some, like literally from Thailand. I'm just like, oh, this is good stuff.
Really?
All the K horror. Oh yeah. They're pretty big. It's all about these little dolls. They're all about the dolls. K horror is there, and it's good stuff.
Okay.
It is good stuff.
What about K horror? Like Korean horror?
Yes.
Some of the movies are crazy. Like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Korean horror, I think hands down, are 99% like truly scary.
Yes.
And really good. I think sometimes they're better than American horror. I'm going to put that out there.
I really like that. What was that zombie series we watched?
The Kingdom.
The Kingdom. That was good.
Oh, The Kingdom was good.
Yeah.
That
was Korean.
Interesting.
That's horror?
Yeah.
They're
zombies.
Alive,
Okay. What about Train to Busan?
Oh yeah, one of the best. Like one of the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the best. I mean, again, I think a lot of imported horror movies are like the best because like I feel like you're really caught up like in the drama and you're really caught up in the actual story. And it makes you really like look at the film itself, but also it's got like some of the best cinematography. It's got some of the best stuff, and it's original, and it's like original stories. Here,
you're right.
I mean, there are some good, obviously American films are really good, but it's just like a lot of like imported horror films, especially specifically to that genre, they just got a lot of more stories because they believe in like spirits, they believe in stuff like that. So
because their cultures have their own legends, myths, horrors, and stories that go back in time, in centuries or whatnot, right? So they have different things to be afraid of, and different experiences. So it's kind of nice to see that being brought on into their stories or the retelling of their cultural myths and urban legends. So, and we're just like fortunate enough now that we're so connected that we can hear and share in these things.
Okay,
yes, the eye. Yes,
the eye.
Oh, so good. Yes.
What's the eye about?
The phone too. That's like the one where the girl she starts seeing stuff. She has like a transplant like in her eye.
Yeah.
But what she doesn't know is that the eye that she got transplanted was from a previous person, and it's making her see spirits all around her.
Oh my God.
But what she's seeing is like spirits are trying to get inside of brand new babies being born because they're trying to get their souls reborn. But so she's trying to, she doesn't know that. She's trying to prevent that to happen. But she now realized, so like whenever somebody has like a kid, they're like, oh, your kid looks like your dad, you know, that may have passed away, or like, oh yeah, he looks like your aunt, or you know, some family member.
Yeah.
So they took that storyline, but I was like, yeah, because their spirit got reborn into that baby, but she doesn't know that they're good sort of spirits. She just sees like dead people around her. She doesn't know. It's a really good one. You should try it out.
You know, we had a discussion last week with another guy called Pat, and we were talking about why, like, the comic versus manga, the difference of what makes it good or bad. But here it sounds like the same thing where the Hollywood horror versus here, I mean, the imported ones, and you said they come up with something original. Do you think part of the reason, one, first of all, is the tropes are kind of really like non-existent or barely there? That's what makes it good as well?
I think they're there because you always have, like, the basis of a storyline is you always have the protagonist, you always have the savior of the story. You've always got the person that, you know, that doesn't believe what's going on, and you always have like the funny character. You always have that trope of like the goofy character, you know, the best friend, or like the person that's like, oh yeah, he's always the butt of the story. So they still have those same tropes, or you wouldn't have a story at all. However, it's not so much played up, like, and when I say play up, like, it's not so much as like, oh, they've got like 40 lines and the protagonist only has like a couple, but they have like these, you know, like looks, and you're like, oh yeah, you're the one that's gonna save the girl at the end because you look like the macho man. You know what I mean? It's they have them, but it's not as played up. They're playing the story itself. Like, you're really getting into, why is this doll possessed? What is going on, Annabelle Jr.? Like, what is the backstory? You know, so I feel like, and also, let's be honest, to see like a regular, like, blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, like, oh no, Mr. Bill, you know, versus like someone of Asian descent that's like, oh, you know, like it's a different connotation, because they really go into it, like expressions, like they get into like the whole body language, and they, you know, they do the pointing like this. That stuff is real. Like, here we're just like, oh look, there's a you know, something over there. A lot of K-pop, they're like, oh no, watch out, and you're like pointing, you're trying to look, you're like, where, you know. So it is. I mean, it is. I watch a lot of horror imported, and they always point, and I'm just like, yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, you're right. It's the story. The story has to be good. It can't be just like used for cannon fodder, you know, you're just, you know, the next victim. So yeah.
All right. So what is your top 3 horror movies or series, Carshénah?
Oh, that's so tough. So much. I mean, because I break it down to like subgenres. Like, are you talking about adventure horror? Are you talking about, you know, like?
Okay, then within the genre, just don't forget the number 3. Within the genre that you would recommend people to watch, like, what's good that you really liked?
Mel already mentioned it, but I always would recommend The Omen. The Omen is just a classic one. It's so good. Like, I tend to go towards like the old school stuff. I love The Thing. The Thing is like a top movie, you know, that no one can deny. You know, I really enjoyed 30 Days of Night, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh, is it the vampire one?
Yeah.
I really like that one.
I really like that one too.
So would that be under the genre of vampires?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I gave you a possession, I gave you an alien, and I gave you a vampire. So there you go. Those are some top three, some top favorites.
Would you consider like Squid Game a horror? Is that horror or is it under thriller?
No. It is a thriller with horror themes into it because you don't know what's going on, but as soon as you figure it out, it does have some horrific stuff. Because if you're going to be vying for money, a lot of people do a lot of horrible things just to get that money. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And they're kind of like vying for their lives. But their lives is not what they're concerned about. They're more concerned about like getting the money so they can have that for a purpose in their life, because they're at an ultimate end, right? It's do or die, and this is the ultimate do or die for them to try and get that money. So it's kind of interesting.
So under thriller then, huh?
Yeah, there's just so many movies that are just really good out there, but they're like classics as well. So Sam Neill. I love Sam Neill, of course.
What is that, a movie title? Sam Neill?
No, Possession is the name of the movie, but Sam Neill is the actor.
Yeah.
And there was that one that in Jurassic Park, right?
Yes.
There was that one I just watched about the Exorcist.
Event Horizon too.
The Pope's Exorcist was one of the latest ones that was released out in the theaters, and that to me that was kind of interesting because it did tie it in with some true events, very very loosely tied in with the Pope's Exorcist back in the 14th century, and they were trying to explain why during the Spanish acquisition, why Spain was acting in a horrible way in some of the situations that they were in. So it's kind of interesting how like they tied it into that. So you may want to check that out if you haven't seen that before.
Oh yeah. These are some good titles, JD. Some really good stuff. Yes, K-pop. Like I said, if you a shameless plug is not shameful at all. If you go over to my Verse Films and add, I do a 30 days of horror during like the Halloween season. I've been doing it now for about 2 years running, where I do each week like a horror week. I did like an M. Night Shyamalan week where it was nothing but M. Night Shyamalan. I go over all of his movies. I did like a horror music, like who has the best soundtrack? Was it Psycho? Was it Saw? Was it Lost Boys? You know, I do a survival horror week where it's all survival horror movies. I do like zombie, like I do a kids friendly, like kids friendly one for like Monster House or Coraline, stuff like that.
Monster Squad.
Yeah, exactly. Monster Squad, Night of the Comet, stuff like that. Like I do them, and it's every day for 31 days of horror. And you can check out my reviews and check out stuff like that. But I literally go through each one. So I've got about a couple, and then I do my decades horror. So like the best horrors from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, like the best, like the top best. So check those out. And video games. I do video games, horror video games too. So I love those.
Nice.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. I do like 13 Ghosts, the Alien, of course. I like that as well. Then what's the other one that you guys were like talking about? I'm also a fan of Salem's Lot from Stephen King.
Oh yeah.
They did that. That's what I have to say. That's one of my more favorite vampire movies. See what else? I can't. All of it is just kind of like going over my head.
Wait,
right now.
will they? The Hand That Rocks a Cradle, is that horror?
I can't remember.
No, that The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is more like it can be sort of like a revenge sort of horror, but it's.
Fatal Attraction in a way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but no,
No,
not really.
so it's under
Mm-mm.
thriller then.
Yeah, thriller. Oh yeah, big time thriller. So, well, guys, I am going to exalt. It is getting late for me, but please, please,
I'm going to
please.
continue on with y'all.
Yes, but please, 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 I appreciate every one of you for checking out and looking at stuff and like get my juices going for talking about horror stuff. So I'm really, and
so
yes, and the Barbie doll.
That YouTube link and check out Verse Film Productions. Okay, when you guys get the chance there, and make sure you sign up, and so that we can stay up to date with everything that's going on there.
And you saw it here exclusively, a real Barbie doll. You saw it.
Oh yeah.
You saw it.
I'm gonna get one.
Oh, can we bring up the? Do we have to take a break?
Oh, wait, what do you want to do?
Oh, bring up his website and how to email.
To get on the list.
Yeah, we'll
get there. You can go to Jane. You can bring that link up there. But make sure you sign up for the Chits, not Chits, but the Skits update as well. Put your email in there so that we can get updated. They're going to be starting up a new campaign soon, so you don't want to miss on that. So, and on that note, we are going to take a break. So don't go away. Come right back. And we'll talk a little bit more about Skits and about the art that we have here today. All right. So thanks again for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Comic Collectibles is a pretty straightforward show. You got Rex here, he sells the comics, and you got Rockin' Robbie, he knows about the comics. And finally, John, well, no one really knows what John does. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he just keeps showing up. Come to think of it, I don't even really know how he gets in here. Anyway, awesome comics, rare books, rarer signatures, slabbed books, and amazing cover sketches by Ken Hazer and others. Simple formula, you want the comics, you buy the comics. To sum up, Rex sells the comics, Robbie knows the comics, and John, who might possibly be a ghost. I mean, seriously, has anyone ever seen him show up or leave? Comic Collectibles with Rex and John, Mondays from 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. Comic Culture and Sales. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise. A promise of adventure. A promise of excitement. A promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to Sketch Up on The Experience Thursday night. This is the first night of San Diego Comic-Con, so we appreciate you joining us here. And we have Michael there, who's been working on his piece there for Skits. If you can show that stuff to us again, Michael, and let everybody see there.
Beautiful.
So he's got the boot hanging in there. And if you haven't read the story, the boot is plays an interesting piece in the story. So you definitely want to check that out. And if you need to get caught up on that series, click on that link, skitscomic.com, and you'll be able to get caught up on that before they start the next campaign. And make sure you put in your email, get all the updates in, that way you don't get lost, all right? Okay. And Mog, you can see she's working on the Psylocke. The colors are starting to come out there. That currently has a bid of $90, so we are looking for the next bid on that. And thank you, we got that from Mike, who put in 105 just right now. We also, okay, I hear you, Netta, so let me see if I can get, hopefully this sounds better. We also have a Madame Xanadu in a flapper outfit that's in the Mardi Gras frame already, so you can see that up on the screen. And we are still looking for an opening bid on that of $100. Okay. So you can take that pretty piece home as well. Okay. And so, Michael, tell us about the your next volume of skits.
Well, what I'm doing right now, if people go over to the website, is I'm doing these short stories with artwork attached to them. And those are kind of to fill in the gaps of some of the stuff going on with the comic series. So you can actually go over there right now and read some of the stuff that's going on. And pretty much all this stuff ties together. So you should just kind of go over there and give them a look. See, I get a new one up on the website every Friday at 9 a.m. So there'll be one tomorrow at 9 a.m. And but the next thing is skits fighting windmills. And what it is if you go over on the YouTube channel, we're actually I've filmed every piece of this, and it's kind of like a sketchbook storytelling adventure. And it's something that I kind of just wanted to throw in between, because I do sketchbook work, but I also make handmade books. So I was just like, well, let's just go ahead and turn that into a book, and I'll film everything so people can actually see the process that goes behind going into a comic book. So you can go over there and check out that right now. We'll be putting that up shortly, very shortly. So if you get on that mailing list over at skitscomic.com, you'll find out as soon as it goes up. So that's mainly the main thing. It's like we're trying to drive all of our traffic to the website, because things get kicked off of here, kicked off of there, and then you lose stuff. So you really need to get you something going on your own that can't be kind of canceled or kicked off of or something like that. So, but yeah, go over there to the website. That's where everything is. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really super excited about the skits fighting windmills, but this stuff is just going on before Skits the Sun Book 2. So I'm working on that at the same time. So I got a ton of stuff coming.
Do you have some kind of idea around like what time you're planning to launch that? I know it would probably be like still tentative, but any idea?
Well, we're just trying to garner some stuff from the email list right now. We're trying to build that up before we actually launch it. And I don't launch anything until it's done. When I did Skits the Sun Book 1, it was I put it so that it was a year out. It's like I launched the campaign and it's going to be ready in a year or maybe 10 months or something like that. And I ended up late on it by a month. And I know that's not a lot comparative to a lot of campaigns and stuff out there. But for me, I was kind of annoyed by that. So I just want to make sure that my stuff is done before I even do the campaign. So Skits Fighting Windmills will be coming up really shortly. And then after that, we'll be doing Skits the Sun Book 2, probably fall and winter. That's what I'm hoping on.
Okay. Now, I know you said that you don't really do like variant covers, but you've done a few in the past. Will there be any variant covers on this one?
Not on Skits Fighting Windmills. It's kind of done in a picture book format, and it'll be hardbound. It's 48 pages, and but Skits the Sun Book 2 definitely will be.
Okay, there you go. Okay, there
Yep.
you have it. All right. Okay. And can we see what you have so far?
Yeah.
Because you do have a bid on there, and we want to thank Ronald Shepard on there, who is an avid art collector. And
No, on. Yes, there you go.
there you go. Yeah, it's a very beautiful piece.
I know. It almost looks like watercolor.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
Just a pencil.
I can't believe it's pencil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pencil to me. So, yeah, very nicely done. And you did that very quickly too, in an hour and a half. So
Oh,
there.
when you've been doing it most of your life, you get pretty quick at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'd like to talk about too is when we were speaking earlier about Skit's origin, you could see how the artwork wasn't as refined as Skits the Sun Book 1, and it's definitely not as refined as what I'm doing right now. But whenever I started doing comics, I always knew that you had to do 1 page a day. It's like you got to get a page done a day, and that's that. So all of my books, that's how I work. I do a page a day. So it's like, when the early stuff, it's a little rough. It's not that refined and stuff, but I had to make sure I was doing a page a day. So, I mean, even today, it's like I'm doing a page a day, and it's like the further along you go, the better your work gets, the more detail you can put in it, all that sort of stuff. Oh, people are bidding on it.
So Michael, what happens if like you say 1 a day and it's almost like not finished because there's so much more work that you had to put more than you anticipated? What do you do then? Do you just end it?
No. Well, here's a little thing. When I say 1 page a day, that's for penciling, inking, and coloring. So I kind of give myself a buffer where it's like, I know I'm going to have the penciling and inking done, but the coloring is what it might not get done. So I'll go ahead and put that off for later and finish up the coloring later.
Okay.
Okay.
So
just for you currently have a bid of $75 from Ronald out there, so there's a little bit of a bid war that's going on.
Yeah.
Can you show the piece one more time?
Oh yeah.
There you go, Ronald. This is what you're bidding on here.
I'll kind of get it up close so you can see.
That is a one-up original Skits page. Whoever is the winning bid is going to get what size is that?
Oh, this thing is.
I think it's like 11 by 14.
Oh, it's bigger than 11 by 14.
Yeah, 11 by 14.
Oh, you were right. That's correct.
Yeah.
So that's a good size. Okay, and you just went over and placed $90 on that, so you've got 90 on that, Mike. I love the stairs going up around the tree there.
And they're going to pay for my vacation.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
That'll get you back home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And Mog is still working on the Psylocke. The colors are coming out there. That's good.
Is that watercolor and colored pencil?
Watercolor, and I did a little ink because this piece is like 8 by 10.
Okay.
So to do the fine detail, I gotta use an ink pen. But if I work larger, I don't have to use an ink pen. I can work with these tip brushes. So I'm actually curious because you do use kind of like a watercolor technique. Do you ink at the end also to bring it out, or?
Not on this piece. This will be pencils. I'm kind of working this just a certain way, but a lot of time, I mean, I'll do different styles. If you got Skits the Sun Book 1, I did 3 different styles on that. I did pencils and colors, inks and colors, and then I did painting. So, I always like to just play around with different stuff. I mean, right now, all I have is a pencil, so that's what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use liquid graphite.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm doing pencil work, because I just like the way it looks. It's got a really nice feel to it.
Do you still enjoy it? Do you use it a lot?
Yeah, I use it as much as I can. If you go over to my website and pull up the one story that's which one is it? It's the Devil's Grip one. That y'all had it up a little earlier, but that one actually has some of that going on in it. The liquid graphite.
Huh.
But if you go over to, he's gonna pull it
Can you
up.
bring that up?
Yeah, that one right there.
Wow, that's liquid graphite?
It's got pencil, liquid graphite, colored pencils, paint, collage. There's all sorts of stuff in that, and that's actually a really big piece. Well, not really big, but it's maybe like around 17 by 24, maybe something like that. So I actually like working big. So I like a lot of mark making and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you don't really erase what you draw?
Sometimes not. No, when I'm doing a piece like that you're just looking at, I never erase. I just paint over. Like if something doesn't go right, I just paint over it and go back into it. Like I try, and most of my stuff I try not to erase. So
so you're kind of like me. Like you like to work messy and then kind of clean as you
it
go.
up. Yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, because some people, like a lot of comic artists that I know, they work super clean. Like they already know exactly what it's gonna look like, and then they just like keep erasing and erasing and erasing. But that's not really my style. And it's good to know that I'm not alone. You do the same.
Well, sometimes like with something like this, I was just like, well, I kind of have an idea, but I want to just kind of free flow it and just see where it ends up,
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, sometimes I do thumbnails and stuff. Like for this one, I kind of did some thumbnails, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do a couple thumbnails, and we'll see what comes out of it. So those were my thumbnails.
Yeah, thumbnails are good.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can do a lot with a thumbnail.
Have you ever, like, for example, for your pages, do you do, or whatever illustration piece, do you at least do 10 thumbnails?
No.
Oh.
No. And when I'm doing comic book art, I'll do all of my thumbnails right on the computer. Like I'll just do really quick sketches in the computer.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of rough it on the computer. And then I'll project it onto a page and put that down onto the page as my roughs.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way I don't have to, it just goes a lot quicker.
Yeah.
There's some things that work quicker digitally than others, like totally. I could, if I was doing everything digitally, I could probably do like 3 or 4 pages a day. But I don't like doing digital because I like to have physical artwork.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I feel the same way.
Because it's like you put so much hours doing digital, like in a digital way. Yeah. And then it's just floating in cyberspace.
Yeah, exactly.
It just feels weird to me.
It's a matter of preference.
Exactly, it is. And plus,
I like to see that. It's kind of like it's also the basis of where I stand with the AI argument. I want to see the work that was done by hand, because part of the process is that human endeavor to try and create something out of your own hands, and not to have, even though it kind of is, but not to have a machine that kind of generates the work for you, no matter how you're using it. Before I get away, Ilya is asking, are the thumbnails included with the
sure
artists? Okay,
sure.
There you have it. Yeah.
Also, Also, whoever buys it, I'll send a copy of Skits the Sun Book 1 with it too.
Ooh.
Second bonus.
So Michael, I think Ronald is kind of hinting. Could you explain? Like he says, the piece is interesting, but he has no clue what the subject matter is. Can you describe what you're drawing?
So what I'm drawing is Skits, which is the character that I work on. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to theskitscomic.com. But basically, Skits is a book about a guy who can't tell the difference between his dreams and reality. And it came up from a series of dreams I had over a period of about 3 months when I was working a graveyard shift, and I just wasn't getting enough sleep, and I started having these dreams that kept going night after night. So I documented them, and this was in 2000, and now I'm making comic books out of it. And it's a guy who's in a straitjacket. The guy's in a straitjacket, and he has a friend that's a pet. It's a Boot that's dangling there. That's friend Boot. And then one of the characters in it is Mr. Chair, which is that chair that's floating. But there's a whole team of characters in the book. So whoever gets it, they'll get Skits the Sun Book 1, and you'll be able to read all the adventures. So it's lots of fun.
And and when you do read it, you'll see how important Mr. Chair and the Boot is in the story, right? So that's pretty interesting. You pretty much got all the major players on the page there. There's more, but yeah.
Yes, I did go to art school. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD, and I was there on a presidential scholarship for my portfolio. I guess I had pretty good art in high school, so they gave me a good scholarship so I could go.
Ronald, if you read that story, Skits, okay, and I know you missed it in the beginning, but I told them that it is a trip reading that story. Well, you're gonna feel like that you probably had some mushrooms or something, but it's an interesting read, and interesting to see like where the story is going. So, and for me, I know I can't wait to get the rest of this. So
yeah, and it's really tough.
Definitely check it out.
It's really tough because I actually have all of it at least roughly scripted out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's a ton more books to come, and it's just something that I need to really get on. And it's hard when you work a full-time job and do this, but we're going to be having a bunch of stuff coming down the pipe really quick. So you'll get a lot more story coming soon, and also the stuff on the website every week. You get the short story with the illustrations, so that's cool.
All right, we're going to have that drawing for the depth art that Mog did. So if you haven't already getting your name into the drawing, just type in 3 names of your friends in the comment, and that will get you in. And you've got about like 4 minutes left to do that. And then Mog's Psylocke piece has a bid of $90. So if you want to bid on that, you can. And we are still looking for an opening bid on the Flapper Xanadu that has $100. And that does include the Mardi Gras frame that is there, very colorful and bright, that really fits well on the Flapper costume that Madame Xanadu is watching. And Mike has a bid of $150 on that Skits page from Ilya. That will also include the thumbnails and book 1, was it?
Book
1, yeah, Skits the Sun Book 1.
Okay, so he's getting good jump start on Skits, plus only an original
by the creator.
Art. But you still got a few minutes to go ahead and bid. So if you are interested in those any of those pieces, you can do so now. Okay.
Hey, also, you said that you got the Skits origin. Do you remember which number you got?
Because I think it was 146.
They didn't go that high. I only did 100 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's very rare. I only did 100 copies of it. And every one of them signed and numbered.
Oh, it's okay. You're right. Number 47.
Woohoo!
47.
Show them to the.
This is the Origin.
Yep, that's Origin.
There you go.
Origin and.
That's number 47, right?
Yeah, that's the very early work.
47, if you can see that on there.
Yeah, there's only a couple more of them on the website for sale. So if anyone actually wants one,
find that on their website.
Okay. Yeah, there's only a few more, and then they're gone. So I only printed 100.
And here's book 1.
Yep, that's the Kent Williams cover.
Yeah, Kent Williams. If you know who that is.
I think he did.
Beautiful cover.
Did he do some? Did he do Black Orchid? No, right?
Gosh, I forgot.
He might have. He might have did that.
I think also he did.
He did Wolverine and Havoc back in the day with Bill Sinkwitz. I can never say his name right.
Okay, okay, I stand corrected. Mike.
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, Sienkiewicz. Yeah, Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, Wolverine. He also did the.
I think he did Sandman, right?
Who?
No, he did Book of Magic. Did he do Book of Magic?
He may have done Book of Magic.
He did some covers for Book of Magic.
Yeah.
He did The Crow. He did some covers for the Crow book that came out in the 90s, the late 90s. What else?
And I saw you showed me like during COVID the original that you have.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a few of his original pieces. I got a Wolverine piece. I got the cover that he did for us, and I got a more recent piece from him too, a vampire painting. Oh, yeah? That's really cool. And my wife has a really nice what is it? Like a high-end G clay print of Dracula. He did a real nice Dracula painting, and I got that for her, which is really cool.
You know, your wife really is a great supporter of you. I think you're lucky that you have your wife who's kind of like, I think, opposite personality.
Yeah.
So, like, she can, what do you call, subsidize your weakness or something like that. I don't know.
Well, she's
compliment.
Yeah, compliment. She's very outgoing and very well spoken, and but she's trained in that. She's an actress in Hollywood, and she really helps with that sort of stuff. I'm just sitting here drawing and talking to y'all as people that I know, and she helps out a ton. I mean, when I first got started doing this, she really helped me out then, because she was like, listen, you sound like a country bumpkin when you're talking, and you need to, better your diction and, listen to how you're speaking. Like I would record myself and then listen back. She's like, oh yeah, this, you need help with this. So yes, she has helped me out greatly. And of course, you got Mel here. I mean, he's helps you out. He's with you all the time. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. He does most of the talking. It's great.
Yeah, but
it's hard to draw and talk at the same time.
That it is. But outside of this show, Mog is the one that does most of the talking. But especially if you see us at the cons and stuff, it is Mog that does all the shopping, all the talking.
Carshénah, she still does all the talking, even outside.
But I know your plight, because only when I started doing this live streaming, I have to sometimes re-listen again, and I hate listening to myself, because like I have to get some information of the client's name, and then I hear myself and I'm thinking, oh my God, I sound like a dunce. Like for example, like the way Mel speaks is so eloquent. He has like a beginning, middle, and a finish. Like there's a complete sentences. Even Carshénah, she does the same, I noticed. But then when I talk, I would like correct myself mid-sentence and change the direction or change the word. It's like always like a halt and a halt and a halt.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It's just
I'm the same way, and she would tell me, you got to listen to what you're doing here. You start something and then you go in a different direction and you never finish. And I'm like, well, I guess that just shows how fast your mind's working because you're thinking of a bunch of different stuff.
I don't know. I think I write better though. Like I can write, but speaking, it's kind of, you're right.
Well,
Your mind is going so many branches in different ways.
Well, I will tell you, my freshman year in college, my English teacher at SCAD, she had never been to the United States before, and she learned English in Hong Kong by the British. And no one in the classroom could understand a word she was saying. And I was like 3 or 4 weeks into the class, and we were coming up, and she was giving us a progress report, person to person. And she said to me, she said, Michael, you English is no good. I'm like, what?
No way.
I was like, at least people can understand what I'm saying. But what she meant is my grammar, like the written word, like my it's terrible. I can't spell, I can't punctuate, I can't do anything. But
You're
yeah,
graduate. What are you talking about?
But I was so mad. I was like, you can't even speak the dang language. And you're telling me mine's bad.
That's a total irony. Wow.
Do they not have a lot of English classes or grammar classes in SCAD for you to take? Or?
No, you just take one credit and that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they have you either take math or something else. I can't remember what this something else was. I took math, and it was over summer school, and the teacher, he was literally a rocket scientist. He worked for NASA, and he was this big giant guy. He was a bodybuilder. And when you come into the first class, he gave you a test. He said, if you get a 90 or better on it, you don't have to show up for the rest of the semester.
Wow.
And I just come out of high school, and I had calculus and statistics. So, I mean, I aced it. And he's like, well, I'll see you in 9 weeks. I was like, all right.
Oh, you lucky son of a gun.
That's great.
My gosh.
Okay.
But I actually saw him all the time because I would go to the chess club just for fun to talk to the guys. And I wasn't any good at chess, but he was the top ranked chess master in the Southeast.
Yeah.
And he was this big muscle head, he just didn't look the part. And he told us a really cool story where he went to Washington Square in New York to play all the chess people. And he showed up with like a real tight shirt and a I love New York cap and stuff like that. He just looked like a total idiot, And he was like, oh, what do I do here? And he just started beating everybody, but he was acting like he had no idea what he was doing.
Wow.
Oh, they got hustled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, it is 9:01. We kind of went a little bit over, so we'll try and see if we can wrap things up here. You still have a few more minutes to get any final bids in. Mike, your piece is at 210, if I'm reading that correctly, so you're doing pretty good there. Mog, you got a 105 on the Psylocke. We're still looking for an opening bid on the Xanadu. And right now I'm going to do the drawing for the death piece. So here's the jar, and we're going to shake that up a bit.
Free art.
And then I'm going to, we're going to pick one here. And here is your tonight's winner.
Who?
Mike Wasilowski.
What?
Okay.
What the heck?
So, Mike, you have that. I want to thank you guys for joining us this evening. Make sure you come back next week, Thursday, and we'll have another special guest, and we'll have more art that you guys can bring home. All right. So, thanks again for joining us. Right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Mike and Carshénah, really enjoyed having you guys on the show. Definitely got to have you guys back in a future show. Right?
Yeah.
And talk more.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.